things that we'd like to know.
Okay, I've been driving for 3 years.
Oh,
I've
3
been with
years.
Knight.
Okay.
Yep. I've been with Knight for 2 years. I did work the oil field for a few months before the COVID hit. So that I loved. I loved working the oil field in Wyoming. That was one of my favorites. I've done reefer, I've done dry van, and I've done sandboxes for the oil field, and that's just fabulous. I love that one. But since COVID hit, the boom went down in Wyoming, so I'm back over the road with Knight. I started driving because my son has type 1 diabetes, and my husband works a lot. So to take the burden off of him, I started working. And, I was a stay-at-home mom for 20 years, so there's not a lot of skills that I have that cross over into, the real world. So I know I can drive, so I'm like, why not drive a big rig? So that's where that started. And I help with the bills, and I help with his diabetes, and I'm paying for my daughter's college. It's all in cash just from working with Knight. So, and I stay out 3 to 6 months at a time. My kids are older. They're very independent. I raised them that way. So, we video talk, we chat, Skype, same thing, it's like being deployed. So my husband has to deal with the kids now, and they're older. So it should be really easy for him now. I love it. I'm an introvert. I don't look like it, but I am. I get a lot of looks on the road because I don't look like a normal woman truck driver as what they assume a woman truck driver looks like. There are a lot of girls like me out on the road. We work really hard and we play really hard. It's all for my family.
マジですごい近くで見てこれから近くで見た方がいいよ。カフェみたいな、ほんと。うわうわうわうわうわ。すごいすごいすごいすごいすごい。うわすごいすごいすごいすごい。これすごくない？これ この子に一番好きかもしれない。
なんか重力を感じないよね。
Hey, listen, we'll go back all the way. In fact, let's go all the way back to last weekend. This is the day in the life of a truck driver. So let's do a review. Okay. Home time. I got home. It's now Tuesday afternoon. Specifically 15:30, October 5th. Barstow, California. Flying J truck stop. Exit 178. That's where we're currently at. Planet Earth. You know, we're on the Earth plane right now. Okay. So let's go back in time. And this is kind of general trucking. And in fact, I'm not going to hold the camera. I'll show you a little something. Little trick for you when you get your own truck. Okay. This is what I do. You don't have to do this. This is just what I do. It's part of the driving to Tokyo gig. This is only part of it. This isn't the whole channel. This is just a segment. Imagine this. You're flipping through your dials on Hulu or DirecTV or whatever, and you have multiple choices of programs. This is one program on the YouTube channel, Driving to Tokyo, okay? So let me show you a little something. Hold on. I have these magnet things, okay? There's one here, okay? Mounted on the windshield. You can get all of these at a truck stop. See this ball here? See this magnet thing? See right here? Now watch this very carefully. See this? Okay. Boom. Here, the way that snaps. See the way that snaps on there? And this phone has a metal thing on the back. This is a Pro Max, okay, super phone. Pro Max with 500 gigabytes of memory storage. This is about a $1,300 phone. Yeah, this is what the pros use, like me. Okay. Let me show you one here. See, this is the center of the windshield. See, it's again a ball right here. Okay. See the ball? Okay. You can kind of see better angle there. See the thing here? Okay, now watch. Like that. See? And watch this phone. Watch this phone. You have to do, on the directions it says you have to be able to do these sounds. Okay, you have to do that, otherwise it won't work. Okay, right like that. See that? Now it's hands-free, right? You see outside going out, you know, down the highway. Okay. Now this is basic. Is it filming? Yes, it's filming. Now watch. I take it and I change the view here on camera. Now hands-free, see? Now I have a Sony speaker I use with my other phone. My other phone, Sirius XM Chill. I like the chill station. Okay. Is it all my fault? See? Music. If it falls apart. We're recording, right? I like this driving music. Okay? You can pick your own music, but I like chill. Channel 53. Okay.
say in English? Mouse? Mouse is English. Mouse. Mouse. Mouse for PC. Mouse. Oh, mouse. Mouse is mouse.
Mouse.
So that's I think so. Most of the foreign people like to use mouse. So track.
I use a mouse. I always have a mouse in the pad. Yeah. But
Do you play games on?
No. I mostly.
Driving in the streets of Nagoya, and this is the first time we have seen each other in 12 years, and we actually talked just for the very first time in Facebook in 12 years, just a few days ago. So this is a brand new experience for both of us. It's raining today, but I'm still enjoying it. Now, I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the steering wheel being on the right side. And it's actually a little scary as a passenger because I'm looking out and I think maybe we're going down the wrong side of the street. But I trust that Takako's a good driver.
I'm slowly driver.
And I get to help her practice her English. You probably don't have a chance to speak English very often, do you?
No. I try to speak English to my sons.
To your sons?
Yes.
But that's the extent of it. So you don't get to speak that much. I'm really impressed that you could even speak at all.
No chance to use English.
Well, now this will give you a chance, at least for the time that we're together.
Yes.
All I have to do is remember to speak slowly.
Yes, please.
Which I understand. I don't know how to speak any Japanese. You could say anything, and then it's really bad. I can't, when people say how to say certain things, I can't say it back. I'm terrible. Okay, this is Doug. I just solved the problem. I'm constantly learning stuff. It seems like every day. I'm recording this heading. I'm currently right now on Interstate 5, which for my friends in Japan, you may not know the interstates, which I don't blame you. I don't know the interstates or the highway system in Japan at all, because I've never driven a car in Japan. In fact, I've only taken a taxi, I think, once or twice. All of my travel in Japan has been on the local subways, the bullet trains, which is my favorite. So I always get a JR pass for a week or two. And I just do a lot of walking. Interstate 5, and I guess you could look at this on Google, and I'm driving right now, so I can't really show you my truck GPS, but when I stop, one of the things I like doing is taking my camera while I'm stationary, because I don't want to do it when I'm driving, and show you my truck professional level GPS, because it'll show a macro or micro. It'll show where I'm driving right now, but I can actually zoom it out so you can see where the truck is in the United States, and I can zoom all the way out so you can see Japan, the United States. It's actually kind of cool. What's cool about that, I was trying to figure out how I could show where I'm going, and I was using my old laminated map book. And and I'd have to thumb through the pages. And I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier, but I realized I could just use my truck GPS with my iPhone, with my camera, to show you where I am. I could do it right now, but I'd have to grab the camera while I'm driving, and I could do that safely, to be honest with you, but I'm just being extra careful. My camera's mounted on a windshield mount with a magnet. I've shown that on a couple videos, and when I'm stationary, those are two things. It might be somewhat repetitive, but I don't know when people are going to pop on and see my videos. So I don't mind repeating some things that I think are cool to share, because it just takes a few minutes, because you may have missed it on earlier videos that are, that get kind of buried. Keeping those, saving those, so I'm not just deleting them. I'm not sure if Mike even knows this, but going back in time, back to the beginning, when I didn't even know how to download a video to my channel, YouTube, what I was doing initially, because I could at least make a video, I was making videos, and then I was downloading them to Facebook, to my Facebook wall, and then Mike was taking them off my Facebook wall because he knew how to download them and downloading them to my channel, and then he was adding a title or thumbnail. So if you look at my earlier videos that were from the first 90 days that we were working together, you'll see that there might be some missing, but most of them have titles and thumbnails, and now the most recent videos have none. Okay, it's because I don't know how to put thumbnails and titles on them. Obviously, I could probably go to YouTube or do some of my own research or find out how to do that, and then begin doing that on my own, so that it's uniform. So all my videos on driving to Tokyo all have thumbnails and titles. I think it's kind of cool. I think it does add to the visual aspect of the channel. However, as far as the functionality is concerned, it doesn't really make a difference. You can still go to one of my videos that I download without a thumbnail or title and still watch it. Okay, so that isn't a huge concern of mine. My concern more is the actual content of the video itself and value I'm providing. So back to my original thought. One of the things I thought of doing or focusing on is the very fact that I think, and I don't know if this is true, but I think millions of people, I don't know the exact number of people that have iPhones, specifically the newest iPhones, like the iPhone Pro Max, like I have. I don't know how many people actually have the same kind of phone I have. And then the people that have the same kind of phone, I wonder how many people are using iMovie on their phone and using it specifically for their social media, whether it's Facebook or wherever, or even for their own personal remembrance, their own personal, like making their own little mini documentaries or little films for the family and memories, or road trips, or things that they want to videotape and make into like a little movie. I wonder how many people are actually using their iMovie. I'm saying that because I've had iPhones now for years. In fact, all 5 trips that I made to Japan, I brought my iPhone, okay, and some other additional background you may not know. Sprint, which was my carrier for years, over 10 years, was bought out by T-Mobile. But prior to that, all of my trips to Japan, I was taking my iPhone. I had other cameras, but I had a GoPro camera is what I was trying to figure out. It just went blank. I had a GoPro camera that I bought, but frankly, I was just simply using my iPhone, and I was taking pictures, and I was taking just regular videos, and I was posting them while I was in Tokyo and traveling in Japan onto my Facebook page. That's all I was doing, because I had a plan with Sprint that was only $5 for a whole entire month. In fact, it was prorated, so if I only used it for 2 weeks, it'd be like more like $2.60. And it's changed now, so I won't go into a lot of detail, but it's part of my history, part of my background, part of how this all got started, and part of how I was documenting all my trips to Japan. If you can imagine, I had my iPhone, and I found out that the person that owned the network in Japan, the SoftBank network, that was, I think, the largest network in Japan, bought Sprint, who was at the time my the service I was using in the United States. So as a service to his customers, since I was a Sprint customer, he was only charging $5 when he came to Japan to use your phone, just like you would be using it in the U.S. In other words, you could make free phone calls anywhere in Japan, call back to the United States, receive calls, plus in addition to that, do Facebook Lives, post videos, photographs, all that kind of stuff. So when I was going out every day, I was going crazy. I was taking pictures all day long, it didn't cost me anything, and taking videos and posting them constantly on my Facebook page for the whole entire time I was there. So I was accumulating a lot of content, okay? And because I was going to Japan about every 4 or 5 months, I was going every fall and spring, the bottom line, I was accumulating a lot of consistent new content, because I was taking pictures and videos every single day, doing lives, and I posting on my Facebook page. So when I came back home, between when I got back home and when I went back again, I had lots of new pictures and videos. Okay, the problem now, the challenge I have now, is now this month it'll be 2 years since I was in Japan. 2 years. So I went 5 times in 2 years, and now I've gone 2 years, and I have not gone at all. So I realized that part of my problem or challenge is that I don't have any new, original, fresh content. All the pictures I have are pictures I've taken from my previous trips. So that's why when I post anything related to driving to Tokyo in a video, there are pictures that you will see repeated throughout my different videos. They're good pictures, and I think they're worth sharing, but unfortunately they're repetitive because I don't have new content. So it's quite clear to me that COVID kind of really threw. I would have been on my 8th trip to Japan now, and my goal before COVID, and when I was going to Japan every fall and every spring, my goal was to go to Japan indefinitely, as long as I possibly could afford to do it, and I was healthy enough to do it. And I really had the idea and the confidence that I could do it indefinitely. And I'm talking about like literally like 15, 20 times. I don't know. I guess if I went twice a year, 20 times, it'd be going back and forth to Japan for 10 years, and I'm now 68, so maybe that's unrealistic. But my point is, I was going to go back and forth as many times as I could, as long as I could, and continue taking pictures and videos. This was before I even met Mike or did the Video Matrix, or even thought of having a channel called Driving to Tokyo. This was kind of the backstory. This is kind of the genesis of how this even came into being. Okay, and I believe that everything happens for a reason. Now you're watching. I've been speaking over actual driving scenes. I'm in the truck driving, and I'm speaking on my headset as we're going down the highway. We're already like 15 minutes into this, which leads me into another something it's probably obvious, but it's good to share. That okay, one of the questions people have when they ask me about truck driving, they'll ask me some common questions. So I'll share some of those questions related back to this video that I'm shooting right now. One of the questions, looks like exit 630 is coming up, it's Corning, and then Orland, exit 619, which that's just a side comment. I'm on Interstate 5. I know all the exit numbers of all the truck stops because I've been driving for Knight Transportation 9 years, and I've been going up and down Interstate 5 all the way up to Seattle, Washington, and Portland so many years. I can tell you, like, for example, the next major truck stop is going to be Pilot, exit 619. And we're at exit 601, so another 18 miles. And there's going to be a grocery outlet, one exit from that. And that's all these truck stops, by the way, that I'm going to tell you. I've stopped there, spent the night. I've been to them a gazillion times. So it'll be 619. The next one after that is about 11 miles up the road. Is Corning, exit 630. There's a TA and a Love's and a Petrol at that exit 630. Then after that, the next truck stop is going to be in Redding, exit 673. And then after that, the next major truck stop is going to be Weed, California. That has a Starbucks that I stop at a lot. It's up in the mountains in Northern California. That's exit 745. Okay, moving along, if you go up and then going into the Oregon border, there's going to be a Petrol in Phoenix, Oregon. And the next one is going to be exit 33, Center Point, Oregon, and just so on and so forth. Exit 99, exit 119, exit 148, 199, 238, 263, and so on. All that we're in the Oregon. So that's just a side thing as far as being a land pilot, knowing your truck stops and your exits, so you plan your trip accordingly. I've probably done this a long time ago. But I took that challenge, and then you're supposed to watch a video every day so that you see someone else's video. So the idea there was a sharing, but the point that almost everybody feels not real comfortable with initially is talking in front of the camera and just being natural and comfortable with that. But that's one of the benefits I got out of the Video Matrix Challenge. I up to that time, and still kind of, I don't really necessarily like myself in camera, and I didn't really think I had the X factor. Some people have that, that Casey on one of the people I watch, the rest of them is close. Casey on YouTube has a huge subscriber and following, and Chris Broad in Japan, I watch his stuff. Peter McKinnon, I watch his stuff. When you watch their videos, you can tell they're professional content creators, and you can see why they have large following. But I never felt like I really had that. So I really did the video challenge really, to tell you the truth, just have an experience of connecting with other people. Because driving solo in a truck, one of the things you have to kind of get comfortable with is you're spending a lot of time alone. You're not going to work in a job where you have people you work with, in person. You don't really have a social network at work, and you're alone in the truck. You're spending a lot of time alone. So if you're the kind of person that needs to have that, there are people, there's nothing wrong with that. There's people, look at all the big corporations and call centers and big high-rise business buildings where people go to the same place. Even like with my friend Dave, who works on a big aircraft carrier. I don't know, even I'm pretty sure it's an aircraft carrier with thousands of people in the Navy on an aircraft carrier where it's just like a little city. You have that, even though it's small space, it's not a regular city, you're working in an environment where around is that literally, you know, thousands of people. And you have that social network of the people that are in the Navy with you and serving on the aircraft carrier, you know, and sharing that experience. With truck driving, it's in a weird way it's similar, but you're alone. I've been solo for 12, no, actually technically I've been solo 9 years. So I've been driving like this every day, except for the times I go home, and obviously when I go into Japan a month at a time. I have been alone, managing myself alone every single day. And that's one of the reasons why I now have the incentive to even make these videos, because I realize I've been driving 12 years now, and I'm not going to drive forever. In fact, most likely I'm going to drive anywhere from 3 to 5 more years, and 3 to 5 years went really fast. So on a personal level, I just decided, rather than letting those years go by and not consistently make videos to look back on all these trips I've been taking in my life as a truck driver, I wanted to document it. Okay.
I see, Lord. It was re-released in early 2001, remastered with some extra tracks. And among George's many solo hits were My Sweet Lord, What Is Life, and Cracker Box Palace. George stopped recording shortly after John Lennon was killed in 1980, but he returned in 1987 with the platinum album Cloud 9 and the #1 single, Got My Mind Set on You. Around the same time, George teamed up with Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, and Roy Orbison as the Traveling Wilburys and had another #1 hit record. After that, he kept on writing and recording music in the privacy of his home studio. In talking with George about his recent work, it was clear that he had a lot of other things on his mind besides just music. I know the one benefit concert that you've done in England in the past couple of 20 years or so was for the Natural Law Party back in '92, I believe. What brought that about?
Well, it was one of the things that made it easier was I'd just done a tour of Japan with Ericsson's band. So I was kind of up to speed with the songs that I was doing, and I had the band was there that knew all the material. But that was, I think there was a general election going on, and as far as I'm concerned, whichever, the Neil Innes, from the Ruttles, he wrote a song once and he said, no matter who you vote for, the government always gets in. And it's like that, in England, you always get, as far as I was concerned, the left, the centre and the right, they're all really the same. They're all different shades of the same greyness. And although it was a long shot, Maharishi tried to get these people formed together into a party which would be called the Natural Law Party, which was
the same Maharishi
Mahesh. And the idea behind it really is to have consciousness as the basic thing, because if really, we get in government or we get in any situation in life, we get the reflection of our own consciousness. We can't really complain about what we have because that is us. It's a reflection of our own being. Now, if we could have people who are actually conscious in a spiritual sense, then all the underlying problems to society, it wouldn't be able to change just overnight, but over a generation or 2 generations, you could have things where, for instance, say in England, and I'm sure it's the same here, you get disease. So you've got a lot of expenditure on hospitals and on fixing up people who have disease. Now the problem is that most doctors, they study disease. They don't know about health. So you'd need to reprogram stuff so that you teach people about how to be healthy. That way you don't spend so much money on disease. You'd have people would be healthier. You wouldn't have such a requirement for the various things that take up all the money. You'd be able to use that money for something else. So the natural law that operates on this planet or in the universe, everything, as I said earlier, everything works in a perfect order. And there's a scheme to things which has a certain intelligence that drives it and makes everything work. Now, if we as individuals could go to that level of consciousness where we can bring it into our being, and as Maharishi Mahesh Yogi once said, for a forest to be green, each tree must be green. So it's no use just 1 or 2 people being, like this. You'd have to make the whole of society, if they had that understanding. And that's what I think really you'd have to, school people. Right from being children, teach people about their health, about their bodies, about consciousness, because it's all to do with consciousness. Raise the level of consciousness, and then everything automatically becomes better.
Do you think it can happen, or do you think people are totally on autopilot too much?
It can happen, but it's something which will take a long, long time, generations of people. If you look now, just through, say, from the 60s or the 50s, there's a lot more people, thanks to, say, indie music, thanks to rock and roll music, who have got much more understanding. You go out there on the street now, you can find Indian spice shops, Indian restaurants, and places to go for yoga, for meditation. There's a much higher awareness generally on those kind of things. And so it is seeping through. I mean, where did all the really good hippies go when they all dropped out?
Driving Volvos, George.
Well, I don't think all of them are. I think a lot of them are, have, brought up, there's probably 2 generations of kids now who are much more open to that type of consciousness, and they've been brought up by, being vegetarian or whatever, that helps the society become, a much more balanced. It's all to do with the balance. We've got too much extreme going on.
You're optimistic.
You have to be optimistic, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I just it's so funny because when you talk to people, it's down the middle. Those who think it's getting better, those who think it's getting worse, and those who think it's reflected in the music in all cases.
But it is getting better and worse because that's the nature of relativity. Good and bad, good and bad. But the individual, if the individual gets that consciousness, then it doesn't matter, because in a way you can retain the balance between the good and the bad. Because really good and bad are the same. They are. Yeah. It's the same sort of thing. So it's like in the middle is the safe.
Change our world, but we have to fight together. I don't even know what's happening right now, but I love it! This is the first time I've ever driven a car before.
I really wish you'd mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You love you, loser guy!
Thank you! Watch out for the...
That's what I'm doing. I pretty much have done this all stream of consciousness. I don't even think about it. It might be bad, might be good, but it is what it is, right? Hey, I'm interrupting myself from yesterday. I'm at Starbucks. It's a little loud inside. Change of plans. Things are always changing with truck driving. It drives some people crazy. Hopefully you can hear me, even though the music's loud in the background. I wish Starbucks would turn it down so that if you're doing something at Starbucks, it wouldn't be so loud. I gotta talk really loud. Anyway, I'm at Starbucks across from Petro, which is down the street from Kia, and I was going to take a 34-hour reset, but what happened is a whole bunch of stuff happened. But the bottom line, I was low on my recap hours, meaning I didn't have a lot of hours to work with. So originally I was going to take a 34-hour reset at the Tulare yard. But what ended up happening is I dropped the trailer at Gap, went to Tulare, found an empty, which is cool, and then went to the truck stop. And while I was there, I got a pre-plan, which was picking up here in IKEA and then going to Tempe, Arizona. And because I had enough hours to do that, and because I would deliver tomorrow by 2100, it was a perfect load to go home for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, just temp-based Phoenix. So that's just a quick update, real time. Let me go back to the regular programming right now. All day long. Yeah. I'm camping out. Yeah. Camping out at Petrol at Lebec. Can you hear me? Yeah. 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 I'm coming home this weekend, but probably not till Friday night.
In 1.25 miles,
Friday
keep left to Laval Road East, then exit right.
Yeah. 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 All right. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. I'll have Saturday and Sunday off. Yeah. All weekend long. Yeah. Yeah. I got my exit coming up right now. Just before the weigh station at the big grapevine. And the Kia place right down the street from the Petrol. Yeah.
Keep left to Laval Road East, then exit right.
Yeah. There's a Starbucks, there's a Panda Express, there's a Chipotle. Yeah. There's an Arby's. Man, there's a Wendy's. It's a trucker's heaven right there. Yeah. Here we go. Take an exit right now.
Take exit 219A on the right to Laval Road East.
I don't know, she's taking me to somewhere else. I'm going to the west. I'm going to the side with all the good stuff, man. Here we go. Yeah, this parking lot's always big, wide, lots of space. Yeah. Yep, end of the day. Yep. Here we go. I gotta slow down here because there's gotta watch these cars. There's cars up here now. Yeah. Well, to the right here is the Chipotle and Panda Express and Starbucks. There's even a Taco Bell right over here. I never go to that. Yeah. Here we go. This is the best part of the day, shutting down. And I'm going to be shutting down. Heck, it's 6 o'clock in the evening now. I don't have to pick up the next load till tomorrow at 6. 1800 military time. Yeah. I'm going to have about 24 hours off. Yeah. Yep. Here we go. It's a little bit of traffic jam now. As you can see, there's a 1, 2, 3. I'm the fourth truck going in here, and they're going really slow. Yeah. I don't know why. They're going really slow. Yeah. Well,
arriving at petrol stopping centers on the right.
Wow, look at the sun. The sun's going down in the west. It's a big ball of yellow. Wow, he's out. Yes, Alien, we're here. Yes, we're here at the Petrol. The Petrol here in Wheeler Ridge. Yes, here we go. Now we just gotta find parking. Now, I don't know if these savage, this is a shop, this is a scale. I don't have to scale because I'm empty. But, here we go. Yes, sirree. Yeah, Japanese guy, yeah, we're here. Alrighty. Now we gotta find a parking space. That's there's the guys, everybody, all kinds of people doing all kinds of things here. It's a big truck, this is a big truck stop in America. Here we are, here we go. I'm going slow because it's a bump. Oh, what's all these people leaving, man? It's nighttime when they're leaving. Here we go. I'm going slow because there's lots of traffic. Yeah. Oh, alien, yes, we're here. I might go to Panda Express. Oh, you guys, yeah, I might get some almost Japanese food here. Let's see, where do we want to park? See all the parking spaces, man? There's all the parking here, and it's all 6 o'clock in the evening. Yeah. This is one of the bigger ones. Look at all this parking. Yeah, let's see which way do we want to face here. Face away from the sun. We're gonna make movies tonight. No, well, we don't have much daylight left. Yeah. Okay, that's where I want to park. I park kind of the same place every time. Yeah. Go. Here we go. Yeah. Look at all this parking. Well, heck, I can just park anywhere I want, really. Yeah. But I usually whip it around. Look at this. There's lots of space tonight. Wow. Unbelievable. This would be good for a student. Oh man, I can even park really close if I really want to. Yeah. Let's see here. I don't normally go down here, but look at all this open space. Here we go, here we go. I think I'm gonna go down here. Because we're facing at an angle, nobody's gonna block us in. We're a little bit closer to the Panda Express. Yeah. So here we go. Oh, except these were spaces going out, I think, not in. Let's see here. No, that's not the right place. So those are made for going out. Yeah. Let's see. Which means we gotta go back around. Well, look at these. I've never seen these open this close. Maybe everybody's off today. Look at all this. Wow. It's starting to sound like Zig Ziglar. No. It's what's his name? Jim Rome. Is it Rome? Yeah, he's talking like that. We gotta go. We gotta go downtown.
Coming early, and I'm not saying late. We call that your choice of attitude. Now, do you think that attitude, if you kept it for the next 5 years, would greatly affect your fortunes? The answer is, of course. You cannot escape the accumulated effect of the selection of your attitude. You can't escape it. So one of the major things to check is, how do I feel? And am I on track or off track with my attitude? Now, attitude's not that easy to fix. It's not that easy to get information. It's hard to look up attitude in the yellow pages. If you could put your car in the shop and go next door and get your attitude tuned, wouldn't that be nice, right? But where do you go? How do we engage in the kind of philosophical thinking that will refine our attitude to give us a chance for future fortune rather than what will be missing in the future? So this is big, attitude. Here's another attitude. No matter what they pay, I always come early and I always stay late to invest in my own future. We call that another attitude about the same job. Now, why would one person have one attitude, another person have another attitude? We call that mysteries of the mind. Right? I don't know. Everybody has to choose for themselves. Everybody has to decide by education. Now, if you didn't know what the consequences were going to be, it could be very easy to choose the wrong attitude and not discipline yourself to the right attitude. So a big portion of our life is affected by how we feel. Let me give you just a quick list about the feelings that affect our lives. Number one, it's how you feel about the past. Boy, it's easy to carry the past as a burden instead of as a school. It's easy to let the past overwhelm you instead of let the past instruct you. How to feel about the past hurts and the past losses and the past difficulties and the times you failed and the times it didn't work, the accumulation of all of that. How you feel about that's going to greatly affect your future in your life. One of the major things that affects your life is how you feel about the future. Our life is affected by two major things. One is price and the other is promise. And it's not that easy to pay the price if you can't see the promise. I think kids are having problems these days trying to pay the price because they can't see the promise. But all of us wouldn't mind paying the price if we could have a clear view of tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. If we had the high assurance with great probability of how it's going to work out, do you think we would hesitate to pay? The answer is no. But everybody hesitates to pay if the future isn't clear. So to help the kids these days, we got to do two things. Help them to see the promise and help them pay the price. But we can pay if we can see. My karate instructor said, Mr. Rohn, you cannot believe the incredible feeling of walking down any city street unafraid. I said, let's get on with the classes, right? Hey, I will sweat. I will put myself through the paces, right? What would we do for an extraordinary promise? Answer, the most unbelievable things. Would you crack the books? Would you burn the midnight oil? Would you engage in the extra thoughts and the extra disciplines if the promise was adequate? And the answer is, of course. But who wants to read? Who wants to burn the midnight oil? Who wants to put themselves through the paces if the promise isn't clear? Important, price and promise. Here's number 3. It's how you feel about each other. It's so important. Attitude about society, country, state and city, community, family, enterprise, office, company, corporation, division. It's so important to have a unique understanding about other human beings and what makes a good life, what constitutes a good life. How you feel about each other. I've got a good phrase for you. You can't succeed by yourself. So to have a unique, refined sense of appreciation for each other is prerequisite. It takes each other to build a society. It takes all of us to build a country, to build a nation. It takes all of us to build a community. Key phrase, you can't succeed by yourself. I gave a speech not long ago to the Rotary Club of Culver City, California, and I was unusually affected by the Pledge of Allegiance that day. Big, strong voices. It's a big, strong club. And it was going through my mind the next few days, the Pledge of Allegiance. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, what an important key document, right? The Pledge of Allegiance. And so I started writing, and I wrote a discourse on the Pledge of Allegiance. I took each key word and did a little summary for our Tape of the Month Club. Wow, the Pledge of Allegiance is unique. It starts with I and ends with all. The pledge starts with I and ends with all. It takes all of us to make any one of us successful. And a unique, refined appreciation of the all of us is what makes the I of us do much better. That appreciation of society. It takes all of us to make a market. We need each other's ideas and inspiration. And once you have that sense of appreciation of the all of us, now you and your place and your possibilities and your opportunities now start to really soar when you understand how important it is within the framework of the all of us.
It's gonna shut down. You, this whole city, they'll be gone.
What if we can save it? Was that cool? It felt really cool. We can change our world, but we have to fight together. I don't even know what's happening right now, but I love it! This is the first time I've ever driven a car before.
I really wish you'd mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Watch out for them. They seem nice.
Anyway, next up, picture of Mount Fuji. This next picture is a picture with me by the Tokyo Sky Tree that you're going to see in this long video. The next picture is Amy and the two women I originally met below the Tokyo Sky Tree when they originally told me about the Tokyo Nichiren Shoshu Temple. And we walked to that temple, and I ultimately met with the head priest that same exact day. And again, it was just a few blocks from this Tokyo Sky Tree, which is the tallest freestanding tower in the world. I think it's something like 340 stories. I have gone up to the observation deck the very first time I went to Japan. And I often go to this area because I love this area, because also the temple is there. And Amy goes there frequently. Also, one of my favorite Airbnbs is about 3 train stops from this Tokyo Skytree. I've stayed at over 50 different Airbnbs in Japan. I really miss it. Now, about 2 years have gone by since I've gone to Japan. 2 years. And so it's really heartbreaking, because in 2 years, when I started going, I went 5 different times. I went every fall and every spring. I stayed at over 50 Airbnbs. I rode on the JR bullet trains, the subways. I feel like it's home. That's what's amazing about Tokyo. When I think of Tokyo, I think of my second home, just like Denver, just like Phoenix, just like San Diego. I feel that comfortable there. However, because it's been 2 years since I've been there, I'm getting really homesick, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to go back again. Google gave me my mileage, and it told me that in 2020 I drove my truck approximately enough miles to go around the world 2.5 times. That was 2020. So now going into the end of 2021, it looks like I'll have driven the truck the equivalent of going around the world 5 times since I got back from Japan on December 18th. And then I ultimately went back to work on January 18th, 2020. So anyway, this is Driving to Tokyo. A big part of this channel is truck driving, and also Tokyo and Japan, but there's so much more. There's a lot of things I'm going to be talking about my life, since so much is happening right now, all behind the scenes, that most of the people on the planet don't know. I only have a handful of friends that even know what's going on in my life, because frankly, I only have 15 subscribers, and I'm trying to think if any of the subscribers that have subscribed actually have met me, seen me, been to my home, actually, been in my truck. And to tell you the truth, I don't think my subscribers have actually physically met me. So in fact, it's really humbling making these videos. I began to realize, this is last weekend on my home time, that really the essence of why I'm making these videos is not to recruit drivers, not to train drivers, not to talk about night transportation specifically, but it looks like the primary focus and reason why I'm even starting or pursuing this Driving to Tokyo and making these videos is just to document my journey from this point forward. And I'm talking about the whole journey, including my home time, my relationship with my parents, and all the things that are going on my home, all the things that are going on behind the scenes, including truck driving. So I'm going to be documenting unless something happens beyond my control. I plan to make these videos indefinitely for the balance of my driving career, and hopefully be able to go back to Japan sometime soon and be able to use my iPhone to be able to use the iMovie in Tokyo, because I can't imagine how much content I can create knowing what I know now in Tokyo, shooting videos all day long, taking pictures, and then every night at my Airbnb creating a video collage just like the one I'm doing right now. I'm actually at a Pepsi dock right now in Phoenix, starting my day on Monday after having a couple of days at home. That's where I'm recording this. I'm sitting in the front seat of my truck recording this for you. So having this portable device is just totally unbelievable. Doug with my clear glasses. I like wearing my dark glasses, to be honest with you, because I just like them better. But I wear these. These are kind of clear. I don't usually wear them on the road, so I don't feel as comfortable with them. Anyway, here it's a special time right this second, because, well, first of all, first thing, let me get clear something. I kind of miss my truck already because of my truck and my windshield. I have these multiple magnet things where I can stick this phone up when I'm sitting here talking to you. I can go, and then I just talk to myself live. Nothing's really live unless I'm really live on Facebook. So if, I'm loading at the Pepsi right now. I just started loading, but this is what I was just talking about. I have all these windshield mounts for my camera This what I'm recording on is an iPhone Pro Max, one of the best probably iPhones you can get. It's a $1,300 phone. See, I have another iPhone here. See the way this mounts right on here, like that? That's my other iPhone. This is my Zonar here. That is my e-logs. So it is a little bit like being a land pilot. But see this magnet here? This goes on the back of my phone that I'm holding right now, so that it just clips right here. And then I can literally just take the phone like this. Boom. Now my hands are free. I'm not holding it. Switch the view live, like right now. In fact, I can turn it up a little bit because that magnet rotates a little bit. And here I am, live talking to you at the Pepsi place where I'm starting my day. And it is, I even forget what day it is, half time. It's Monday, the 4th of October, 2021 in my real time. And I could go over all the stuff I've just made, but essentially what I was saying, and I'm gonna go back to me in the studio, I had the whole weekend off. I was recording all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and I've come to some realizations that I haven't even had a chance to talk to Mike about. And this is a huge subject. It's about the subject of going into something that you envision and you think it's for these reasons, when ultimately when you take action and you go into it and you're actually in the project or in the vision or in the process of creating it, like my Driving to Tokyo channel, often, or sometimes, I say often, sometimes, it doesn't sometimes happen, but often, or there is at least the possibility, everything changes. There's a John Lennon quote I like. I don't know if this is the exact quote, but way back in the Denver days when I was doing my video collages, I studied John. I watched all his documentaries and got really into John Lennon. And he was shot and killed. If some of you don't even know who he was. He was one of the Beatles who wrote, the Give Peace a Chance and a lot of songs. He was with the Beatles. He was really very popular. But he was shot and killed in 1980. Some of you, put in perspective, weren't even born then, because 1980 would be 41 now, right? I was here in 1980. I would be about I was born in 53, so that's 27, 27, be 27 years old. Is that the correct math? I'm trying to do the math in my head real quick, but the point is I was alive. And in fact, 1980, I can remember, it was before I met my future wife. I was single. I was living in Encinitas, California, 1980. I got married in 1981. So I may have just met my future wife that I was married to for 5 years. But the point is, I knew who John Lennon was, and he got shot and killed in 1980. And right in the middle of having all these incredible realizations, because he was 40. So 1980, he was 40. So that was 41 years ago. But still, a lot of his music is alive. You hear it on classic vinyl and classic rock stations on Sirius XM and other stations throughout the planet. His music's still living. I think Yoko's still living too, as well, although she's getting up in age. But anyway, back to the quote. The quote was something along the lines of, life is what happens when you're making other plans. Life is what happens when you're making other plans. And some of these quotes this one I'm sharing, I believe is part of the lyrics of a song. So I was watching all of John Lennon's documentaries and his music videos and stuff, and studying him and studying his life. And because I knew him as a Beatle, because I was old enough that, I was around when the Beatles first came to the US, and they were the biggest thing here in the US for years until they split up. And then ultimately all of them went their separate ways, and John Lennon went on his solo career and he married Yoko and all of that. But anyway, a lot of his wisdom is still, like Alan Watts and people like that. Alan Watts has all these videos. He's no longer here, but a lot of his wisdom is on YouTube. It's the same thing with John Lennon. So life is what happens when you're making other plans. And what I mean by that, what I interpret that as, can't ask John because he's not here, but what I interpret that as is exactly what's happening in my life right now and has happened before. Okay. I realize that there is still the possibility of my original vision of creating a high performance team, driving to Tokyo, high performance team, taking you places you've never been before, empowered by Nomyo Horinki Kyo. That's still a possibility, still there, like Deepak Chopra talks about. It's pure potentiality. I haven't completely given up on the idea, okay? It's still there. I held it as a possibility. However, what I'm feeling in the moment, and again, this could change, 6 months from now, another month from now, but I'm feeling that the primary focus right now of this YouTube channel, and to tell you the truth is, if this is the primary focus of it, I've made a pretty healthy investment, the biggest investment I've ever made in a project like this, because this is the first YouTube channel I've had. But it seems like the primary focus for this channel is simply for me to document my life, and my driving life specifically from this point forward. And I hope and I plan to, if I can, stay healthy, to drive another 5 years. 5 years. That's my intention. That's the primary focus. That's the biggest priority other than staying alive and staying healthy enough so I can do that, right? So I'll be videotaping, and here's the other thing, the reason why I'm bringing this up, and the universe kind of lines things up according to what's going on in the big picture, in the 35,000 foot view. And think about it. I originally had the idea of driving to Tokyo because I wanted to talk about driving, my driving life, which has been 12 years, and I wanted to talk about Tokyo and the process of going to Tokyo, because I'd gone to Tokyo in Japan 5 times in 2 years. And I had all that momentum every fall and every spring I was going, and it was a life-changing experience. And I felt it was also something that was very duplicatable, like network marketing, that I could actually recruit people that caught the vision too, and train them to do exactly what I'm doing, including even making these videos on the iPhone. I felt like everything was duplicatable. I felt like it was an inspired vision that others would be attracted to. However, now that the Japan thing is kind of on hold until the COVID thing clears up, I feel like the universe has kind of put me in a position where now the focus is just talking about life right now. And because there's a side thing, just aside from driving in Tokyo, my mother and father are my dad's 88, my mom's 86. Their whole life has been, kind of they're kind of in a life-altering chapter now. My dad had a surgery that he almost died, but he didn't die, and has completely messed up his body and his heart. His heart's operating at 20%. So he's always just wanted to at least make it to 90, and now he's using a walker, and he can't ride his bike anymore. In fact, my parents have decided to sell the house where I'm living, which also is his art studio, having to take down all his paintings and completely take apart the studio and set the house up to be for sale in the summertime. And my mom's 86. And so that's but that whole thing, because they're my parents and I live there across the street from where they live, I also want to focus on helping them through this process of not only selling the house, which in turn, for me, it's actually cool, because now I'm going to definitely minimize my life and be a minimalist, and most likely rent an Airbnb when I need one. I have one actually. I stayed at twice here in Phoenix that I love. It's fully furnished, has washer and dryer. And actually, I did my first videotaping when I first started videotaping. I'm probably going to shift into staying there. Okay. However, I'm going to help them through this whole process, including selling the house, and then that's just part of it. My mother and father are both aware. I don't want to say they're dying, but they've considered going into a retirement home They've been advised to maybe do hospice, but they decide they're going to stay in their primary home all the way through the end. And they don't know which one of them is going to pass first. And one of them does. Could be my father. My mom has to make decisions, and I'm their oldest son. So that's my life. That's real life. That's much more important than just going to Japan or even this channel. Okay. I was literally at my folks' house yesterday watching football with my mom and dad. And my mom and dad know I had the same headset on, and I was making a video, a movie that I just posted on YouTube. And I even showed my mom. I said, Mom, this is my YouTube channel, and my dad's on a walker. He has his walker, and he has an oxygen thing on. And I was telling my dad about my channel. I was telling him that this is like your painting. You know how you've been painting for 38 years. Video artistry, making these videos, is like painting is to you. And he goes, well, are you going to make any money or what? I said, well, maybe there is a possibility this could be monetized. I explained to my dad. I said, because it's actually a YouTube channel. It's my own TV channel almost. But I have to have enough viewers that YouTube will pay me for the advertising on my channel. I told my dad, there's a possibility it's never going to happen. And I said on the top of it, I have the possibility of making recruiting videos for night transportation. So I told my dad, you know, he's fully alert. His body's messed up. And I said, the main thing is I love doing this. And I'm going to continue doing this. And the main thing I'm going to do is document my driving career. And, you know, and I want to talk more about your life, you know, and there's a thing that I'll finish up with. Mary Laverty, one of my old clients in limo, she had a book called Touching Tomorrow, I believe is the name, and appropriately that book was about making videos about your parents' life before they pass on, so you have something to look back on. So it's kind of like their legacy. So I'm in the process of talking to my mom and dad. They really are private, and they're very low key, and I don't even know if they're going to like the idea, but I've told my mom and dad a couple of times, I'd love to be able to, I know this isn't the best time, this isn't the prime of your life, but I'd like to be able to videotape and talk to you about your life, you know, your accomplishments, and be able to videotape that. And you know, I may not even make it all private, but I'm telling them I just want to make this so your great-grandchildren can look back at this. You know, they have great-grandchildren that are now teenagers. Their grandchildren, Daniel and Aaron, who are the sons of my sister, are in their mid-40s, you know, to put things in perspective. So the point with this whole thing is I'm making these videos every day, but it's more like video artistry. It's abstract. I'm combining a lot of different things. I'm talking to you in real time now. I just have done a lot of Free Guy, as you probably have noticed if you watch that, and I've done that for a specific purpose. That movie is an awesome movie, but it's actually, to me, much deeper than just entertainment. Ryan Reynolds, I think, put a lot, and whomever came up with the original screenplay and the idea and the theme behind the video, that's life, you know, this is really a free city. This is really, we're in a video game. This is really a video game, The Matrix. It's actually, there's a lot more to this video, I mean, this movie, than I think that meets the eye. So that's one of the reasons I'm kind of watching it a lot, and I've included here my own video, because I kind of feel like I'm creating these videos, so in a way, it's my own free city. This is, you know, driving to Tokyo is my own free city, but I'm solo, you know. I'm doing it myself, and Mike and I have done this project, but the bottom line, it appears to me that the most appropriate thing is to do this alone. I was going to have to do this anyway alone at the end of this 4 months, but spending a lot of time and energy in recruiting and training, and you know, the channel itself, I think ultimately the visuals on it and the way it's constructed, including my website, can be blown up and remade and everything, you know. However, it might be more appropriate to do all that when I'm further along in the actual living it, because what I'm trying to communicate is life kind of reveals itself as you're living it. Okay, and by videotaping right now, I'm sitting here at Pepsi talking to you, but I'm not really talking to you. I'm sitting in a truck alone. Okay, I'm gonna put this video in the middle of this video that I've been recording, so sitting here getting loaded, and I don't even know if you're watching it, and I don't even know if you understand how everything fits together and everything going on, all aspects of my real life that is truly driving to Tokyo. Driving and Tokyo are two huge pieces of my big parts of my life, and even my own parents. No, they're like, well, maybe after you retire, you may end up going to Japan to live or spend most of your time. They're hip to that. They have met Chicago, my friend. My friend Chicago has lived in my home for almost 2 years, who's now in Tokyo. Well, we're not speaking right now. I don't really understand why, but Chicago's choosing not to speak to me right now, but we're really close. I've seen her all 5 times I've gone there. I've only spent 1 day with her every time I go. She's very, very busy. But my point is, Japan is still a big part of my psyche. I'm not giving up on the idea of ultimately, you know, the course of this, where it's going, may indeed end up, you know, what I originally planned down the road. But it's like I'm, you know, the analogy I could use is I'm, you know, in fact, that it happens all the time with trucking. Things change, okay? I have to review and adjust constantly with my job. I originally was going to take this load to Kingman, immediately pick up this other load, take it to Tracy, and I called my dispatcher and said, this isn't a drop and hook, it's a live load, it's going to set me back. She said, I'll take the other load off of you. So I'm constantly, in my real life, 70 hours a week, for the last 12 years, I've had to review and adjust the course of my life with my trucking life all the time. All the time. It's nothing new. So life is what happens when you're making other plans. So it seems like I'm making other plans, and the primary plan right now is just to document my life. My truck's shaking around. And I'm still really committed to get to Japan. I have the money. If I find out that I can just do 14-day quarantine and then stay there for my last 14 days and still come back and work, I've got the money. I'll do it. I could do it next month. I've got that, like, that's available anytime. And once I do that, everything could change, you know. But for right now, that's kind of on hold, and for indefinite period, a month, 6 months, a year, and I got just focus on the here and now. And the here and now primarily is driving in my home life with my folks and the transition they're making in their life. It's really important. It's huge. You know, I've got to be there for them. And they have talked about it. My own dad said, you know, after we pass, you're going to have, if you're healthy and you're still here, you'll have enough money for your retirement. Don't even worry about it. Don't feel like you have to grind it out so hard driving, because you're going to be okay. He's even telling me, so I'm hoping to make it another 1.5 years. Now, I kid with him. I tell my dad, I said, Dad, you know, what does that mean? When you hit 90, you just can go, eject button? You know, you don't know. You could be 95, you could be 100. But there's a strong possibility. He knows that. He's aware of that. We talk about it. My mom does. In fact, my mom wanted to pass before my dad so she didn't have to deal with selling the house. That's how real this is. But now, because she hasn't, and they decide to sell the house, she's having to deal with it. That's how this is. But this is my life, okay? It's not a video game, but it kind of feels like a video game sometimes. So I'm gonna go back to the regular programming next. This was just a originally I just wanted to show you my magnets, but I'm actually just getting loaded. I'm headed to Kingman, Arizona. Oddly enough, I'm headed to Kingman where Mike and I had our last Zoom call. And I've seen the videos have stacked up on his messenger, and I've changed the password on my YouTube channel a few times, and I was going to talk to him about why I've done that. You know, there's a lot of ground to cover. So back to the stuff I'm mixing. This was a live interrupt the video to just give you a little dose of reality. But let's go back to our regular programming. Hey, it's Saturday. You know, when I'm out on the road in my truck, you know, I get plugged in, I get in the zone. I don't really think about normal life. But then when I get in my car and I'm home I'm home now, Saturday, and I get in my car and I live currently, have been for the last 10 years, in a little tiny town called Arizona City, Arizona. It's one signal light, but in about 10 miles away is another town called Casa Grande, where we have some stores and stuff. Anyway, I'm just driving this parking lot, and I had a funny thought. See these trees here? See how low they are? I would never be able to drive my truck underneath these trees. I know it sounds funny, but look, I can drive my car underneath these trees, but in the truck, there's no way. So, and I'm gonna park my car in the shade here, and I'm gonna actually go in Kohl's and do what I haven't done in a while. And by the way, I love my car. I have a Subaru all-wheel drive. I bought it from Carmax a few months ago. I love Carmax. I could do a Carmax commercial. In fact, I'll do one right now, just for you, even though you may not go to Carmax. I'll do a car commercial right now. I'll put this in the video somewhere, like I'll say something like, you know, sorry for interrupting the regular programming, which is my program. Hey, this is Doug. Sorry to interrupt the regular program, but I'm just gonna do a little Carmax commercial, okay? I'm in my Subaru, I love it. I got it from Carmax a few months ago, but here's the really cool thing about Carmax. You know, in fact, the whole car scene, you've probably seen the different car commercials, you know, where you don't even have to go into a dealer now. It was just cool. They'll pick up your car, give you a check, deliver your new car, and don't even have to go and talk to anyone. I think it's really cool. And I see their trucks all the time, the Carvana and all those. But Carmax, it's interesting. I bought my first car I bought from them was a Lexus a few years ago. I actually bought the car, financed the car, paid off the car, and sold it back to them. I did the whole 9 yards. So when you sell your car back to them, what happened is I was going to Japan for my very first time. I guess it's going to be longer than a 30-second commercial, so I apologize. The first time I sold my Lexus, I loved my Lexus. It was a 2009 ES350. It just rode really cool. I had paid it off, and I should have probably kept it, to be honest with you. I see them going down the highway all the time. My color, white. I got it because of my friend Sophia Rashkin had a Lexus too, and she said, "Oh man, you should be in a Lexus, man." So this is the funny story. I guess this is getting to be kind of a long commercial, but I think this is I thought it was funny. So here I am trying to just check out whether I should upgrade to a Lexus, because I had a 2005 Chevy Cavalier that I bought from my friend Chicago when she was living in my house. I paid cash for it with a bonus I got from Knight. Just kind of a good little beater car. It was fine, 4-cylinder, it was clean, but it was, you know, about $2,000 or $3,000 car, okay? So I'm in the car dealership just checking out this Lexus, okay? So I call Sophia, that was encouraging me to buy this Lexus at CarMax, and I'm on the phone right in front of the salesman, sitting at his desk, and she's on the phone with me, and she's going, "Oh, do you like it?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Do you drive?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, she goes, "What's stopping you? You know, you have the money, you can buy it. Why don't you just buy it?" So I just bought it that day. That was the first time. So I bought it, I loved it. Then I had financed it initially. Then I I paid it off. Full disclosure, my mom and dad were really super cool. 2 back-to-back Christmases, my mom and dad gave all us 3 kids, I have 2 sisters, Jan and Kathy, $10,000 each twice. So I took the money. It's hard even when you have that money. I've never had money like that, even $20,000, even any savings. But to take $17,000, whatever it was, and pay it off was hard, but it felt good. So that's how I paid it off. Okay. So I paid off that Lexus. Then my mom, when I was going to Japan, God, this is getting really long. I was just going to do a mini Carmax commercial, and here I go. But this is what happened. I'm going to Japan this ties with driving to Tokyo. I knew I had to tell you that does tie in, even though I'm sitting here in my car trying to go into Kohl's to buy some new shoes because I want some new tennis shoes, and it's my day off. I can't do this in a truck. But anyway, so I'm going on my first trip to Japan, October of 2017. And my mom said, just in case you go there and you decide never to come back or stay there, maybe you should just sell your car so you don't have any loose ends here, you know? So I went to Carmax and I went into the Tucson store and just asked them how much they would give me for my car. And it was paid off, you know? Here's what I found out. What they were willing to give me was really right around almost the same amount of money I would get on the private market, except I didn't have to run an ad. I didn't have to show it. I have to deal with private people and how to deal with the money situation. They told me they would give me $12,000 for the car. So I thought about 20 minutes, and I said, I'll do it. So literally, it just took about 30 minutes to take care of all the paperwork. They take care of all the DMV stuff. And I signed some papers, and 30 minutes or 40 minutes later, whatever, I walk out with a $12,000 check. Now, obviously, I then had to take a Hoover home, but I had $12,000. I no longer had my Lexus. But I didn't think it was a bad idea at the time, because I thought, wow, who knows, maybe I might stay in Japan. Well, to tell you the truth, looking back, I wish I would have kept my Lexus, because I still really like the car. But then I was without a car, right? So I come back from being in Japan 18 days, and I can go into full description of that first trip. It's worth talking about. But just to get back on the Carmax thing, I came back from Japan, and I didn't have a car. So guess what? I had to buy another car. Guess where I went? I went to Carmax. And I saw another white car, a Sonata Sport. And I, again, bought it. I put that money down, financed it, drove off with that second car from Carmax. And loved it. I think I drove that car for about 2 years or so. And then I ended up not paying that off, but almost paying that off. And then I decided to sell that car back. And I did. Did the same thing. So I dropped, they gave me, because I still had a balance on it, but I had almost paid it off, I sold it back to Carmax, and I walked out with about a $4,000 check, and I was free of the car. And then I went into this experiment, this minimalist experiment to see, because I drive a car so little, if I'd be better off to just rent a car when I come home from home time, and just rent a car from Enterprise. Whenever I need one, then when I'm done, just give my keys back. I don't have any car payments, don't have any insurance or liabilities or whatever. I thought I'd try that for a while. I did that for a whole year. And then, guess what? I went back to Carmax again, because I found to rent a car, even for my 3 or 4 days of home time, because I had to buy the extra insurance, and they had to come and pick me up and take me back and sign the paperwork and everything, it still cost me right around $300 or so, or $300 to $400 a month just to rent a car for a few days. So it didn't take me long to realize my credit was good. I had a good relationship with Carmax. I don't think this rental car experiment's really working. So guess what? I go back to Carmax again. And this time they had a 30-day, this is what I really wanted to talk about. They had a 30-day money-back guarantee. 30-day. which meant you can go in, look around, and the other thing about Carmax, they just don't have Nissans or Toyota. They have Mercedes, they have Lexus, they have all kinds of cars on their lot. So I went and looked around. I found initially this black Jetta that looked almost like a BMW that had only like, I don't know, 10,000 miles or some low miles on it. And I bought it, financed it, and drove off with it. I did put a down payment on it. Now, did I actually pay cash for that? Yeah, I actually paid cash for that. It was a really good price. I just paid cash for the car. So they had the 30-day money-back guarantee. I drove around, zipped around. The stereo was great. The air worked good. I loved the car, but I started getting kind of concerned about the maintenance on it. And so and it was black, not white. So it get really dark. I'm really hot in the summer. So the point, I have pictures probably somewhere. But anyway, initially I took it back to Carmax within the 30 days. It was 2 weeks into it, and I found this white Altima coupe, low miles, but it was an older one, 2010 or something like that, and didn't have all the new electronics on it, but it was like one of those little Z cars. And again, I bought that. Now when I took back the Jetta, because I paid cash for it, they were really cool about it. They said, what do you like to do? I like to just take this car back. I decided against it. I said, do you want to buy another one, or do you want to just get a refund? I said, just give me a refund. And then I took a transportation back to my house, and that's when I went back. Within the 30 days, I went back, and I ended up going into the Carmax near the Night Yard in Phoenix, and I saw this coupe, this Altima coupe, white coupe, and it was really cool. It rode really nice. So anyway, I financed it, put money down. I was still waiting to get the whatever money I had. Like it was like 10,000, 20. I don't know what it was. Several $1,000s back from Carmax. So I ended up putting in down payment on this second one, and drove it for about 2 weeks. I almost kept it, but then I saw the car I'm in, and it's a 2017 Subaru Impreza Sport, all-wheel drive. It has all the electronic stuff in it. Drives really cool. Has a really nice stereo. I love the car, so I ended up keeping this, and put a down payment on, and qualified financing and everything. But within 2 weeks, I just paid cash for it, just paid it off, and now I have it. But Carmax is a great outfit to work with. That's why I buy all my cars from Carmax. I never feel pressure from them. They really feel like they give you, like they really want to make sure you have a good experience and that you're getting the car you want and you're totally satisfied with it. And I asked them about this 30-day money-back guarantee thing, and they said it's just indefinite. It's not just a special promotion. So when I buy a car, when this truck driver buys a car, I buy from Carmax, and I probably always will. And I'm probably not going to go back to just renting a car. That was an experiment that didn't work. So I do have this car, but I'm going to go check out Kohl's for some shoes. And then I did look. Fall Guys playing at the theater here at 12:22. I'm going to probably go see it again just for the heck of it. It'll be my third time. All of you, if you've watched my videos, you saw the previews I played. I'm going to go see it a third time. The last time I saw it here at the Hawkins Theater, people clapped at the end. They clapped. So it's good. I'll be curious if they clap again, because obviously it'll be a different group except for me. I'm curious on how crowded it's going to be too, because it's a Saturday, it's a weekend, and but I'm going to go see it a third time. It's going to probably, frankly, inspire me to go home and make a video. I was going to do it anyway, and I visited with my folks this morning, and I got up at 3:30 this morning. Man, am I tagging this onto the CarMax thing? I even forgot. Anyway, today I got up at 3:30, which reminds me, I'm probably a little tired to see a movie. But anyway, I got up at 3:30, made a video, Went and visited with my folks. Went to Golden Corral. I was even making a video at Golden Corral. I'll probably not make a video while I'm looking for shoes, okay? But I'm going to come back to the car, probably go get my Fall Guy ticket, go see the movie. It's an outdoor mall. Walk around. I've got 2 loads on Monday. A Pepsi load going to Kingman, drop and hook. I just did this, almost the same setup the last time I went out. Going to Kingman, drop in Kingman. Then I pick up a live load. In fact, it's a live load at the same place I did my last Zoom call with Mike. Same exact place. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up doing it again there. Same town, same place, different town, different day. But that's what I'm doing on Monday. But I want to enjoy this weekend. I love working, but right for the first time now, when I'm in my car and I'm kind of being a normal person, and I'm actually for the first time in, it'll be 12 years, not even that. 12, yeah, it'll be 12 years since I paid rent or mortgage or anything because of the circumstances I've been in. I'm actually seriously considering the possibility, because my parents have decided they're going to sell the house I'm in. They said it'll probably be between now and summer, because they have all their paintings. You'll see they have all their paintings, all the stuff in the garage, all the stuff they have to clear out because my dad's no longer using it as an art studio. So they're going to sell their house, which means I will no longer be able to live there. So I'm going to go to either just renting it. There's a beautiful Airbnb I've already rented twice. I love. That could be my residence when I come home for home time. That's probably the most logical thing to do, because it's like $300, completely furnished, washer and dryer, direct TV, really nice neighborhood, beautiful place, and it'd be like $300-400 a month for me to have that for my home time, versus an apartment would be just base $1,000-1,200 a month, and I still would be only using it 4 days out of the month. That's the catch-22 with a truck as a truck driver. If you want to have a regular life with a car, an apartment, or a house, the catch-22 is if you want to be, let's say I want to be at home more when I'm full-time, generally speaking, when I want to keep my truck, I can only be off 4 days out of the month. If I want to be a casual driver and give up my truck and be home as often as I want to, I can. Like, I could get a $1,000 a month apartment and work 3 weeks on, 10 days off or something like that, or 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, if I want to. But those 2 weeks off where I'm enjoying my apartment, having more use of it, I'm also not making money. I have lost wages. So it's kind of one of those catch-22s. That's why most guys, they end up just doing the 4 days off or 2 days off every other weekend, because you're thinking about the lost wages. I'm even kind of thinking about this weekend, because I had a load scheduled for this morning and I decided to take a couple of days off. So that's the dilemma. If you're thinking about driving a truck, just education here to those out there that may be thinking about it. There are some other factors to consider, which I'll get deeper into, about what it takes to be the over-the-road truck driver. All the holistic, the whole thing, not just school, not just recruiter, school, trainer, getting a truck, and driving. I'm going to talk to you much more about it, so you really have an inside look at whether this is something that would really be a fit for you. It's not for everyone. I love it. I can't imagine doing anything else. It's the opposite for me. It's so much of a fit for me, just like Carmax and car buying for me. I can't imagine doing anything else but driving a truck, and I can't imagine driving for anybody but night. I'm a paid representative, by the way. I am paid. I get paid to be a paid representative for night transportation. They do pay you to recruit drivers with experience, rehires, and students. Full disclosure, they do. You can make your commercials, and you can recruit people and actually get paid for it. That's another fringe benefit. Another benefit, which is totally awesome, which is another whole story, which I'll get into later. So come back, or I'll come back. I'll take this, put it somewhere, or I'll chop this up, or I'll kind of edit it, or I won't do anything with it. Some people are looking at me like, why are you sitting in your car talking to your camera? Because I'm waiting for my wife. You know, she's shopping. I don't like shopping. That's what I'm telling them. You guys can relate. Honey, yeah, let's go shopping. Yeah, I'll just wait in the car and listen to ESPN or watch a football game while you're shopping. You know, I don't have that problem because I don't have that girlfriend. I haven't had a girlfriend over 20 years. And she was Brazilian. She hasn't even been to the U.S. So technically I have not had a full-on girlfriend in the U.S. that I was in love with, that was in love with me, that we're actually in a committed relationship here in the United States in over 20 years. There's only one time, and I don't consider this because frankly I wasn't really madly in love with her. I was just trying to force myself to fall in love with other people after Sylvia, and it didn't work. The experiment, like renting a car, it didn't work. She picked up on it. It was only 3 months, and it was, I don't know, I forced myself to go online, and that's another subject. I guess I can trim this. Okay, this goes in the relationship. Okay, we're going to talk about that. See what I do, you probably are catching on now. I make these long stream of consciousness videos sometime, and I just edit it down because I found this trick with iMovie. I didn't know about this before, but let me finish that story. She was actually really nice. I met her online. First when I met her, I didn't think there was a good fit, but then I don't know, she grew on me. She was tall. She worked downtown. She owned her own house. We actually went out. She got a bed, queen-size bed, new one. I got a queen-size bed at Denver Mattress, same kind. And, you know, we did the whole thing for about 3 months. I'd go over her house. She'd make me dinner. And, you know, and essentially she fell in love with me. And I loved her, I guess, but I wasn't in love with her. And finally, she said, something's just not right, you know, between us. She thought maybe there was another person, and finally had to break down with her, and I told her the truth. I said, the truth is I'm still not over Sylvia yet. And that's what you're picking up on. You know, I really tried, and I just can't. Unfortunately, I can't do this. I'm sorry. That's what you're picking up on. I told her the truth. And, of course, she would be sad or disappointed or heartbroken, but we decided to try to just be friends. And that didn't work, and I haven't heard from her since, and that was probably 20 years ago. And so my lesson I learned is this. I've learned this through, a marriage of 5 years. Brenda, which is another story. Debbie, another story. Sylvia, another story. I have found that now, after being single this long, that for me, now other people, other guys, my friend Freddie's, he's in Colombia, and he's seeing all these pictures of, you know, fall in love already, you know, going to Brazil and da-da-da-da. It doesn't work that way with me. So I don't know what's going to happen as far as my love life. That was one of the things in the back of my mind. I thought, if I'm not going to monetize my channel, it's not really going to be for training and recruiting with night transportation. Maybe at least the very minimum, if I happen to meet someone and they want to know more about me, I can just refer them to my channel. Go watch some of my videos. Check them out. And if you're kind of curious about me more after watching my videos, we can explore it, you know. Do you have a channel? Check out your channel too, you know, that thing. Maybe having your own channel would be the next new way to kind of exchange information, you know. So I'm going to turn this off. Now I've got plenty of new contact for later after the Free Guy movie. We'll talk to you all later. Signing off from my Subaru in Casa Grande, going in to check out some new shoes at Kohl's.